be with used to be with Beyond Sports, and I recruited her to be on my team, and she's been amazing.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That's great. Well, I think I remember seeing Courtney here once or twice, but we're glad to have you. And it's a pretty exciting time. Once this report has come out, it has opened up some eyes to what we should be doing and what the opportunities are. And the key finding within the report is that transportation is a problem. So if we can get to the kids in the schools and help fund these programs, it makes things so much better. So
So
yeah.
much better.
All right. Peter,
Um,
do you want to introduce yourself?
sure, I can introduce myself. My name is Pete Piscatello. I am local from Overland Park, but work for a national nonprofit, Play Like a Champion. We do predominantly training of coaches and parents at the youth and high school sports level. We also do a lot of work in urban core and areas of high poverty to try to provide some of what Bill was just talking about in Chicago and South Bend and Philadelphia, kind of our big areas right now
Mm.
where we do work to really bring people together and pool resources and do kind of the collective impact model. So that's what we do on a broad level. But like I said, I'm local and I've worked in Kansas City for at least the last 15 years. So it's exciting to be a part of this group and certainly see what impact we can make on the local level.
Awesome. And then Lenny, do you know Natalie and Robin already? Have you already made their
Yeah.
acquaintance? Why don't you guys introduce yourselves too?
I'm gonna go first. Hi, Lenny. My name is Natalie Updike. I work at Children's Mercy Hospital on a program called the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. One of our roles is to support the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. So I support a few of the sectors, one being the sports sector.
Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Robin Shook. I'm the director of the Kansas City HLC. So thanks for coming. Glad you heard about us and glad you could attend.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is exactly what's needed.
Yeah, so we've been doing this, they've been doing this longer than Robin has kind of led this Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And I'll just kind of in a nutshell kind of explain to you how we got here.
Mhm.
Robin has this vision for taking the National Physical Activity Plan and bringing it to Kansas City. So he decides with his, his at the time it was called weighing in, which was focused on childhood obesity. That what needed to happen was that we needed to get Kansas City more physically active, and so the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan was born. He invited different leaders from across the city to take on sectors. Each sector collaborates with one another to try to promote the whole plan in and of itself. The plan is made up of how many strategies, Robin? Like 40?
What? No, it's more than that. What are we
Uh,
up to now, Natalie?
I'd
You were
have to
just
look.
working on the class cards.
10 or 11 sectors, and each sector has 7 or 8. So it could be up to 70 strategies. But
Wow.
the sports sector, their primary strategy is to leverage youth sports to give kids access to more physical activity and exercise.
Mhm.
And they asked me to be the sports sector lead 2 years ago with Pastor Adrian Robertson as my co-lead. And for 4 years, he and I kind of worked together on 7 strategies. Number 23 through 30 are the sports sector strategies within the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And they kind of nail down everything that you have kind of already talked about. We've kind of done a deep dive into what's happening, what we need to do, how do we activate Parks and Rec, how do we
Mhm.
solve the transportation problem? How do we help coaches and teachers and parents become more equipped to use sports to help kids? How do we use technology? How do we create more inclusivity? All of those things. Within the discussions that we had, along came the Aspen Institute's opportunity and for them to come and do a community report
Mhm.
here in Kansas City. Robin was able to find funding for it. He funded the whole in engagement with Aspen. through the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan and the grants that they were able to acquire. Bringing them to Kansas City wasn't cheap, but they did what they were supposed to do. They created a report that we can all rally around. And their key recommendation is to form this coalition of small nonprofits that can ask for more help and direct funds into programs that are boots on the ground in the streets, helping the kids that actually need the help. And so that's what this is. That's where we've come. Peter has stepped in for Adrian. Adrian stepped off this summer, and Peter has now stepped in. He brings a national perspective, which is kind of cool. He has relationships in the world of how do you educate coaches on the right ways to interact with kids, to give them life skills and development and support and keep them safe and keep them active on the fields. And so he has a passion for that. I have started Shareways, similar to what you've done with your organization 5 years ago, started how do we advance opportunities for all kids to experience the power of sports. So it just kind of leads right into what we're doing. And one of the key pieces to the puzzle is to educate the community on how
Bad.
bad the problems are
Yeah.
and how big the opportunity is. And that we're not talking huge dollars to get big impact. Like it's the bang for the
No.
buck for what we're trying to do is
Yeah.
probably one of the most, valuable investments we can make into our kids' lives if we do it right. So that's kind of where we're at today. And today's discussion is kind of what do we do now?
So I've actually been studying other organizations around the country. And one big project that Peter, you might even know about this. Have you ever heard of Project Rampart?
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you
Okay.
off the top of my head, but I do know the name. Yeah.
So Project Rampart was a partnership between the Baltimore Public School Systems and Under Armour. Under Armour invested just $5 million. $5 million is all it took. They redid the athletic facilities and outfitted them with uniforms and shoes. Graduation rates went from 60% up to 98% off just a $5 million investment across an entire urban school district. I mean, talk about a low lift with major impact.
Yeah, no, it's real.
I was just in Baltimore in May and they talked about that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, that's exactly where we're at today. Natalie asked me what the agenda was for the meeting, and primarily what we're doing now is how do we leverage what the Aspen Institute Kansas City Project Play Report does into finding a way forward. What is our path forward? And so I've been contemplating this for a while. So just so you know, I've led up to this. I want to form the Kansas City Play Equity Coalition, similar to what other cities have done outside of Kansas City, and create a coalition of nonprofits that all understand what the issues are and actually go forward with a grant application to the Kauffman Foundation for a collective impact grant. The Kauffman Foundation has just introduced their new process of how they're going to fund systems.
I was at Spark the other week. I'm really excited that you all are talking about this. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but you're on. This is it.
Well, if you're ready, I'd like to jump into the PowerPoint. We can just I can share with you where we're at with it and share it with Robin and Natalie and Peter. You've looked through the deck and you have some suggestions already. We have a collective that has formed. We have invited Win for KC, Girls on the Run, Big Bros and Big Sisters. All three of them have indicated that they do not want to participate at this time. They're hesitant. And I had a feeling that more sophisticated organizations wouldn't feel the same way that I do, and that sounds like you do, and what Peter feels, that the time is now. But they want to take more time. They don't want to say no. They want more time. They want more time. And part of that is how do they tell their board that they're doing this? How do they take, like Gina Lichty, who's the head of Girls on the Run, she said, how do I tell my board that I have these 2 events, but I'm also going to take time to try to, in 30 days, put together a grant proposal for a collective impact grant? We don't even know what that means yet. And my
Do you-
answer to them is that Kaufman isn't expecting us to know the answers to all the questions that we might have, and that we have time if we get the planning grant to move forward that way. But their response is realistic and real, and I get it, and they've got their own deal. Same with Taylor at Win for KC. She's amazing. She called me and she's like, I so want to do this, but how do I go to Kathy Nelson and tell her that I'm taking my time away from these other things so that I can do something that we don't even know what it is? And I was like, okay, well, Wayman King might be involved. I don't know yet. We're still
okay.
working on Wayman.
From the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the fence. I still need to talk to him one-on-one.
Mhm.
But we do have Home Field Foundation. We do
Okay.
have KC United and United KC.
Have you talked to Link?
I haven't talked to Link. I want to talk to Prep KC too.
I just met with Prep KC yesterday. This is crazy. This
Yeah.
is
So Susan, did you meet with
really
Wally?
crazy.
Did you meet with Susan Wally?
I actually met with Beth.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I can't remember Beth's name, last name. But I
Yeah.
met with Beth because, well, actually, she just wanted to hear what we were doing. But Link has started a new initiative to fund athletic opportunities at the elementary school levels for the same reason we're having this conversation now.
Well, we need to include them too.
Yeah.
Let's introduce ourselves to Courtney. Hi, Courtney. How are you?
Hi guys, sorry I'm a little late.
That's fine.
I had joined a few times before with an organization Beyond Sports, but since then I've met Lene, and so now I'm with Advantage as well.
Excellent. Well, glad you joined us.
Yes, thank
Peter's
you.
introduced himself. Robin is head of Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, and Natalie works with Robin. They run the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. Peter and I are both co-leads of the Physical Activity Plan. Peter just came on about a month ago, and he and I have become famous friends. And I'm sure that Lenny and I are ready to go out and
Oh, yeah.
have a
We're
party.
going to be friends.
So, Robin, is there anything you want to do before we keep going down this path? Because I don't want to hijack the meeting if you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
Well, I'll let Natalie answer that question. I know she came up with an agenda, so you can guide us.
Let's work
Natalie.
an agenda.
I mean, I don't really have a lot, Bill, if you want to go ahead. I think we were going to hold off talking about some of the things I had on the agenda because we have a few meetings lined up. I think more to do with the certification program. Unless Jay has any updates, if he's heard back from the Vanderbilt people.
Yeah.
I have not, and
Hi, Jay.
hey,
know
how's
you're
it going?
there.
Sorry, I'm in and out with patients still, but I even asked one of our surgeons who trained at Vanderbilt to give me some other names, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So sorry, nothing exciting on that.
All right. Well, whenever you do get access to those guys, and we can explain to Peter and Linnea and Courtney who they are, but Nashville has done a really cool collaboration that we kind of want to look at and maybe reference. And one of the things I asked Kaufman about the collective impact grant was whether or not they would look at what other cities had done. And Linnea, you talked about, am I saying your name right?
It's Lene.
Linnea.
Mhm.
Sorry about that. You talked about benchmarking off of, something that you've picked up on. There's a lot of things happening in other cities that are
Mhm.
exciting. LA 84 and the Play Equity Fund in LA is incredible. Seattle, I talked with someone from the Justice for Sports Equity or something, and it's like a coalition of these kinds of coalitions. It's like, I don't know exactly, but I'm gonna be in a meeting tomorrow and to learn more about it, but I'll take over the meeting if that's okay with everybody.
And just before we get started, I have to hop at 12:30, but I've put my contact information in the chat and I'm like, you got a strong yes from me.
Okay.
Like whatever, if I
So-
can support or whatever.
Am I able to share my screen? Is that what you're allowing me to do here?
You should be able to.
Okay. Then I'll just jump into this presentation really quick. And then we'll get you off by 12:30. So I'm going to go through this in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So the building the Kansas City Play Equity Coalition has been a process we've been going through for 2 weeks now. I have a grant writer in place. I have a collaborative workspace called Basecamp where will invite you into this collaborative workspace and you'll be able to see who else is in there. Taylor and Gina and Wayman have agreed to stay in the collaborative workspace and see what we're doing as we move this forward. I'd like to have their eyes on it as we go forward. I don't think we need them for the application. They make the application stronger, but that's okay. But so the objective is to present a clear roadmap for the Kansas City Play Equity Coalition and outline our strategy for securing a Kauffman Collective Impact Grant. The purpose is to foster collaboration among trusted partners to build system-level change in youth development through sports. The vision is a future where every child, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, or physical ability, has equal access to sports transformative power. We aim to dismantle the barriers for participation, promote holistic youth development, and empower young people across Kansas City to thrive both on and off the field. Building a coalition of key partners. Right now, I've reached out to Home Field. They're in, Full Throttle Foundation, small. Like I said, Girls on the Run, Boys and Girls Club, Win for KC are kind of on the fence, off the fence a little, but super interested and intrigued and love the idea, but don't, some of these organizations, all those of us that are suffering from not having enough funding, we're like, well, we just want help. They are kind of like, well, what are we going to do with the money if we get it? They want to know what the disbursement of the grant is going to be. And I'm like, how do we answer that question? And I showed them what the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan has done. Courtney, for you and Lene, the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan has 11 sectors, and they have a process that they put in place that Robin and his team have put together, that if we want to get something funded like basketballs for the Lincoln College Prep girls basketball team, we can help you write an implementation grant to the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, and they will fund the purchase of those basketballs. They've got some money available to us as part of the sector to ask for a project grant or an implementation type of grant or any kind of funding that we can think of, as long as we put it into a nice document that they have helped us create, answer the questions they want us to answer. It goes through the core sectors, and the core sectors have a grading scale, 4 different categories. They grade it. And so far, the only thing we've done so far, we've never rejected one. We've asked for more information, and people have had to go back to the drawing board and come back and resubmit. But Robin, I don't think we've ever said no, have we? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. We maybe have asked for some clarification or something, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure we've.
It's a pretty good, and I said that to the group. I was like, we can do the same kind of thing where when we find something that's working, we want to fund it. So if Girls on the Run has a program they want to initiate into another school, then that's going to get funded. Like if Win for KC wants to do a bigger camp, or they want it now, they're doing travel training for kids to Boys and Girls Clubs. That's something that this coalition would fund. We just want to create opportunities to fund the programs that actually work in kids' lives. And so far, it's so hard to raise money for this kind of thing. And I can tell you why I think it's so hard, but it's hard, and it shouldn't be this hard. It should be easy. So hopefully this works. What needs to happen in the next 30 days is we need to finalize our structure, and we're having people come look at what we're doing and want to join us. So this is kind of the critical piece to the puzzle. How do we get to a submission by November 1st? We have a pretty clear pathway forward. We know what we want to try to get accomplished. We know that what the requirements are from the Aspen Institute. And so we're working towards the goal of being able to present this in a pretty short order. Our 1 to 2 year objectives would be, this has more to do with the implementation phase. So it doesn't really matter if we don't get a planning grant, we're not going to get an implementation grant. So the first hurdle is to get a planning grant. One of the big things that came out recently was the American Journal of Preventive Medicine published a study from Michigan State that showed that if we hit the goals of the Healthy People 2030 target, there would be multiple billion dollars nationally savings. And locally, if you just estimated that there were 400,000 kids that might be impacted by playing sports, it would be $570 million of local impact on our community. And that savings comes in obesity, productivity, health savings, and mental health.
I would also like to add education, graduation rates. Like, you didn't even get into that, which I know is outside of but
No, we have to get into that.
Yeah.
Lene, because that's what Kauffman is primarily looking for. Kauffman is looking for 3 things. They want kids to go to college and graduate. They want to train workforce. They want workforce development involved, and they want entrepreneurship. And if we don't show them that we are hitting on one or all of those issues, then we're not going to get any traction with them. So we have to show that the science is clear. Kids who play sports do better in the classroom, and they are more likely to go to college, and they're more likely to be successful in their lives. And they're more likely to be more hireable. They have better core values. They just are better people. So that has to be part of this. And you're right on there. And I know you have 1 more minute here, but basically, we're working really hard to make this happen, and I invite you to join us.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of, I'd be happy to share the research that I've done around college persistence, college access, and academic achievement, even at the K through 12 level, if that's helpful. But Bill, like, please grab my information. Please follow up. We definitely need to talk.
Okay. I'm going to invite you to the base camp, so you can see what we've got in there, and it'll allow you to upload anything that you think we would care about.
Okay.
So it'll give us a lot of opportunities to collaborate. And every time you upload something, you can choose to notify everybody that you've done that, or you can just it'll just live in that space. It's just this collaborative workspace that becomes a repository of information, allows us to be on top of things. I've got a lot of things in there already. I have a letter of intent that needs a response, that if you read it and you don't like it, you need to tell me. My grant writer is in there. We did get Michelle Wimes to agree to write a letter of support, which I'm excited about. Robin is going to write a letter of support, which I'm excited about. And Neil Sharma agreed to write a letter of support, which I'm excited about. I think we can get some national people to write a letter of support too for this. I want to reach out to LA 84 and try to get one from Samarda, the executive director of LA 84. And I'd like someone from the Aspen Institute to write a letter of support too. Hopefully Tom Ferry.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Tom Ferry is actually where I get a lot of my research from. He's amazing. I read everything he touched. I listen to everything he's on.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, Natalie and I were able to go to Colorado Springs and
I'm
spend
so
some
sorry.
time.
I really have to go, but I'm like so sad that I have to go. But bye, everybody. Bill,
Okay, see you guys.
thank you for all the hard work. This is awesome. I'm so grateful that I'm been able to connect with you all.
Okay, nice to meet you. I love it.
Bill, with Michelle Wimes, is she writing a letter as a Children's Mercy representative? Like, does that mean Children's is fully on board for being part of this, or is she writing it more as an individual?
I don't know.
Because that would, if she's writing it as Children's Mercy as part of this, then that is, I mean, awesome. I think that was one of the questions Robin and I had about how much Children's Mercy would fully be on board for all these things that we're talking about. But if she as like an administrator is doing that, then that's huge.
I was gonna ask her to put it on Children's Mercy letterhead. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not, it's not, I don't think it should be taken as like Children's Mercy is fully embracing this. This falls within the, sorry, they're doing construction in my building, so you can probably hear pounding. The strategy and innovation wing of the executive suite. That's who would need to like say, like Children's Mercy is this will be like a formal Children's Mercy program or project. So we're still working on that. So that's,
I mean, yeah,
that's part of the Children's Mercy, dynamics that we're navigating.
I get it, and I can hold off. Michelle's not critical. I like her, and I think that getting someone from the DEI side of things, I can't think of anyone else in the city I'd rather have write us a letter. But that being said, my list is pretty long. I want Kathy Nelson to write a letter. So, if Win for KC is not involved, is Kathy going to write a letter? I don't know. I don't know why she wouldn't. I don't know why she would. So, I also have, Chris and Angie Long. I want them to write a letter. Mark Donovan's on the list. I think Lewis Mays would write one. I don't know if John Sherman would, but I think I could get to him and ask him. But those are the type of people that I'm trying to get to. And I think John Solomon would write one for sure, but will Tom Ferry? I can't imagine him saying no, but then again, maybe not. So I don't know. And then who do we think the Kaufman would be most influenced by? So I don't know. Mostly it's just, I asked Michelle and she said yes. I also asked her to come on my podcast and she said yes. So we'll see. All right. The other thing is the blasters. I talked to Natalie about the blasters, and I'm going to send out an invitation to everyone on the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan core group list to come and join us. We have room for you guys if you want to come and see what's happening. I'm going to promote the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan and the Project Play Kansas City report there. So I have a passcode that will give you a 100% discount registration promo code. I have it's going to be a really fun night. The kids zone is for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, and youth ambassadors. Plus, I think we're going to have flag football kids there and some other kids. That happens from 2 to 5. And then from 5:30 to 6:30 is this VIP celebrity party with Bill Self, which is on the terrace outside. And then everybody goes to their bays and has fun playing golf the rest of the night.
When is it that you would want like us to be there? For which portion?
Well, I want Robin and his little to come during the day. Have you gotten any notifications from Big Brothers and Big Sisters about it, Robin?
Just this morning, like 2 hours ago. So I
Okay.
haven't even had a chance to talk with him about it yet. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
do that this afternoon.
yeah, we have about 50 kids signed up so far from Bigs and Littles. So our hope is to have at least 100. And then, but I'd rather have you guys there at night for the core group. So that invitation is going to come from me sometime this afternoon, Natalie. And it'll just say, you're invited, here's the details, and here's the passcode to register. And all they will do is register by buying a ticket with the code. The code will be dedicated to your bay, so I'll know who's using that code. And if we get enough people to sign up, then we'll do 2 bays, whatever. What are you thinking, Robin?
I'm texting my little brother right now.
Oh, sweet. I love it.
They'll
All right,
probably
that's
get in
all I
trouble
got.
texting in schools. Yeah, hopefully we can make it to the kid thing. I probably won't be able to make it to the thing at night.
Okay.
I've had to work the past 2 weekends and 2 nights this week already, and my wife
geez. Your wife is. Maybe
very
your wife can
patient with
come
me.
and you can stay home with the kids.
Yeah, actually, I should probably propose that.
All right.
But hopefully other people from the team and from the KCPA can come.
That'd be great. I love that. All right, I've got work to do. We can finish early here if we want.
Bill, can you drop your information in the chat so we have your email? So
Oh.
Lynette will follow up with you.
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send. Oh, sorry. I hit return. I might have to have Natalie do it for me because I can't.
I
type.
can send it an email.
Thank you.
Oh, Bill, could you send me a link to your radio show where you promoted the report release?
Oh, yeah. Movement is a medicine.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna send it. I've got the newsletter ready and I was gonna put it in there with some of the other articles about it.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want the YouTube or do you want the Spotify or do you want Apple?
Probably YouTube's
Podcast?
easier to share on the links.
Okay. I'll do that. You need to subscribe. You need to go to my YouTube page and subscribe.
I think our KCPA plan one does. Subscribe.
All right.
Okay, does anyone else have any other updates they want to share with the group before we close out?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm gonna send this to everybody though. Hold on. Okay.